Hey, welcome back to the show. Happy Monday to everybody. It's good to be back. Heck of a weekend. And tonight we're going to be, our topic is, as you can see from the title, is the devil is in the details, or better off, it's the devil is in the Democrat details. And that's what we're going to be talking about here tonight. But I got to tell you, man, I got to open it up with it. I'd like to say that I called it a third assassination attempt on Donald Trump. It's crazy, man. I got to be honest with you. These guys will stop at nothing. They're incessant to gain control and have singular power in this country. I mean, how many assassination attempts are we going to have to fucking have? I mean, realistically, how many of these things are we going to have? At least this one was thwarted. But I guess this guy Miller was arrested on fake press pass credentials and a black SUV that was filled with, I guess, like a loaded shotgun and one assault rifle and a handgun. And obviously this guy is claiming his innocence. But what's funny is what the craziest thing is having an unregistered guns, which one of his guns was unregistered, or a couple of them were. I'm not really sure the whole story, but having unregistered guns and fake press pass is only a misdemeanor in the state of California. And he was let out of jail almost immediately after being processed. Thanks, Gavin Newsom, and really thanks Kamala Harris, because you were the state's attorney at that time. But this guy's going to obviously be an attempted assassin to the president, or to the future president, former president Donald Trump, and he's let out on a misdemeanor because having fake press passes and unregistered guns is a misdemeanor in California, and of course, nobody stays in jail out there after they're arrested, thanks to the Democrat policies. But you know what? The continued and underlining tone, besides the fact this is a third assassination attempt, is that the Secret Service was asleep at the wheel once again. And I got to tell you, thanks to the Sheriff's Department for catching this guy. And of course, this guy is going to claim his innocence and all that other kinds of stuff. But he's back out on the streets because of a fucking misdemeanor, thanks to the Democrat policies. But yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about here a little bit more. The devil's in the details with these Democrats. So here we go.
Break 'em on. This is America First Radio. Patriots, get your ears on because we're blowing the speakers out.
Lefty G. It is time for the Lefty G Show. The only show to get you right. Get ready to get right with Lefty. Your voice taking you down Freedom Road. Now, here's your host, Lefty G.
Let's hit the fucking road!
All right, the devil is in the details, and that's what we're here to talk about. It's funny. This show is going to be a little thick tonight. I'm really going to kind of have to shoot from the hip on a little bit, but because the underlining thing I want to say here is, I do believe that we're in a struggle with good versus evil, and I'm going to lay it out here. I'm going to lay it out here almost in a very spiritual sense. I'm not talking about a spiritual sense like kind of out there in the ether. It reminds me one time I was talking to a girl in a bar, and she said to me, she noticed that I had a St. Benedict ring on, and anyway, so she said to me, I understand, are you Catholic? And I said, yeah, I am. I said, what are you? She goes, I'm spiritual. And I said, well, can you be a little bit more definitive? Because demons are spiritual. Can you be a little bit more definitive? So this is going to be more of a religious thing from a Christian standpoint, and maybe this might hit home with, some of the Jewish folks out there, the Hindu folks out there, because I do believe that we're in a struggle for good versus evil, especially in this layout, this election. And, when you think about it, I would say the Democrats are the party of death. They're an evil group of people, and we're going to get into it. But I don't know if you guys recall, but about, maybe earlier this year, President Trump spoke at the National Religious Broadcasters Media Convention. And again, this was earlier this year. I don't know exactly when, but I remember seeing snippets of it and seeing a little bit of it on the news. And he said something to the effect of, how any Christian can vote Democrat, Christian or person of faith, something like that. How you can vote Democrat is just crazy, or something to that effect. And I got to say, I agree with them. How, if you're a person of faith, let's just say and for the rest of the show tonight, I'm going to reference Christianity. I myself am a Catholic, but who's counting? But I think for this conversation here, it's going to be the term Christianity is what's going to be. We are a Christian country. Yes, we are. So I'm going to talk to that a little bit. That's going to be the descriptor there. And so the message here is, Christianity is incompatible with the Democrat Party. Given the values and beliefs held dearest by the Democrat Party, it's hard not to agree with that ideology that Christianity is incompatible with the Democrat Party. Radicals have gradually pushed it further left, which is also been shifting in terms of what's acceptable in society. And of course, the Democrats are known for shifting the goalposts here in society as far as pushing it towards a more secular direction. Really ever since the progressive era in the late 19th century. So again, I know that this is going to be a little bit of a thick show, so bear with me. And if some of you people don't like the message here about Christianity being the good guys and the Democrats being the satanic bad guys, well, I don't know, go talk to a priest or stop listening right now. But this is going to be the message, because I really do believe, regardless of what your beliefs are, that we are in a struggle for good versus evil. And as I said, although tonight's show is going to have a religious undertone, the fact of the matter is we're in a struggle. We are in a struggle for good versus evil in this country. And in 22 days, the country will cast its vote for just that. They're going to cast their vote for good or evil. And even if you're listening and you're not religious, let's say you're atheist or agnostic, or you're one of these Wiccans that, thinks a pile of mud is some type of deity, you can understand the concept of God versus the devil, being, God being the good and the devil being the bad, right? I mean, you guys can understand good versus evil regardless of what religious background or lack thereof you have. So with that table setting, here we go. As I said earlier in the show, I myself, I'm Catholic. And I'm not a very good one. I'd like to say that. I've got a good memory, but in terms of it, I'm kind of lousy at being a Catholic. And I do see the evils of the Democrat Party through both lenses of my religion and through my secular common sense. And those behaviors therein, okay? So I want to say that right off the bat. I do believe in demonic influences to outright possession. I believe in it all. And I believe if you look closely enough and pay attention, you'll begin to see all of that also. And when I talk about the Democrats, I talk about the fact that I really think that they're mad people. And I don't mean angry, I mean crazy. Loony as a fucking bird. And their madness is directly correlated to the evils of the damned and the demonic. I really believe that. And, when you go back to, say, the Bible, it says that Satan, the father of lies, is he steals, kills, and destroys. And to accomplish these goals, as far as scripturally speaking, to accomplish these goals, Satan lies. He twists the word of God. He appears as an angel of light to deceive. He makes good appear evil and evil appear good, and it's done with the intent that you oppose the will of God, that we as the people oppose the will of God, which leads to bondage and destruction. It's the exact tactics and intent of the Democrat Party, and I'm going to get into it why I think that is. Let's walk down the road here a little bit, just off the top of my head, from abortion to open border policies to environmentalism to, and I don't even want to say so much gay marriage, but I'm going to say gay marriage, kneeling during the anthem, progressive taxes, sanctuary cities, the abolishment of the Second Amendment to wealth redistribution. The platform of the Democrat Party is contrary to the Word of God. End of story. Satan is not able to be everywhere at the same time. So he uses the demons to accomplish his work on earth. End of story. He's not God. He needs helpers. He needs minions. And this is why I've heard it also referred the Democrat Party as the Democrats. I've actually heard that. I don't know where, but I heard that a long time ago. I've also heard dummy craps. You've heard me, refer to that. But for tonight, they're the Democrats. So the Democratic Party really has fully embraced, feminism, to talk about that first and foremost, let's pick the low-hanging fruit here. They have, as a party, they've embraced feminism in its natural descent. And I don't mean the good type of, iron-jawed angels and all those awesome women back in the day. I mean, they've morphed it and done what they've done is they've made it a putrid version of what it is. And that leads us all into the LGBT plus, And again, like I said in one of the shows, I really believe the plus thing are people that are pedophiles. They're looking to protect that. And both have propagated the idea that men and women are, to stick with the whole feminism into the LGBTQ plus thing, they've propagated the idea that men and women are indistinguishable. This justifies, the party's attempts to mix and match the roles of the two sexes in society. And they are opposed to the, Christian idea that man and women are made distinct from each other. Yet, they're complementary to one another. And, their madness, meaning the Democrats' madness now states that there are more than two genders, regardless of scientific proof, while at the same time they yell, trust the science when it comes to, mental health or COVID or the environment. They place on a pedestal all these chicks with dicks. For instance, you got Caitlyn Jenner, not a woman, nor should have been Woman of the Year. What in the fuck was that all about? Chaz Bono, not a man. Elliot Page, I guess Ellen Page, not a man. Or there was the former energy official, remember this whack job, this Sam Brighton, who claimed to be non-binary while, shaving his head completely bald, wearing lipstick and dress with heels, and has a fetish for stealing luggage at airports. Remember that fucking whack job? And don't forget about the current U.S. Assistant Secretary to Health, Dr. Rachel Levin. Again, is neither a woman nor a person who can talk about health, as he himself is largely overweight and has done nothing to rectify it. So we've got this cross-dressing fat ass thinking that he's a woman when clearly he's got a schmeckle, and or maybe he's lapped it off by now, but the chromosomes beg to differ, and the shadow of his ass weighs 40 pounds. Don't talk to me about health. And this is the lunacy, this is the madness that the demonically possessed Democrat Party has on it. And these are all physical examples, folks, of madness to the left. A very small, minute portion of the madness of the left that we can only point to, as I said before, demonic influences. And the left, by destroying marriage and the distinctions of the sexes, the party has helped craft, sexual activity into a vital expression of choice and liberation. And these are the party values over, say, call it the more Christian practices of restraint and modesty. It has removed the incentives to abstain from sex and promote perverse sexual behavior. Now, we have grown men, at a drag show for a 10-year-old or 12-year-old boy that's cross-dressing. It's fucking disgusting, and they're putting dollars in his garter belt. That's pederast. That's pedophilia. That's disgusting. But this is what I mean. They've this perverse sexual behavior, and in doing so, it has helped to normalize sexual depravity. This is what they want. They want laws and legislation to try to trump the moral seed that we all have in us, regardless of how deranged we are. And I think also moving on is, to better prove my point here, I think the idol of abortion has also affirmed the desire of the Democratic Party to exempt society from taking responsibility for their actions. By dehumanizing children as parasites or as a clump of cells and framing abortion as a right, the party encourages people to blame others for their decisions to have sex. And this is despite Christian, asserting that all life is sacred and formed by God upon conception. They could give a shit about that. I mean, really, I would say that this is the biggest point that I want to try to drive into as far as, the destruction of mankind. Over 930,000 abortions, 930,000 souls were aborted. It took place here in the United States alone, or the 73 million abortions per year globally. Democrats literally stand for the killing of babies and, moreover, innocents. This is by far the greatest genocide the world has ever known. More than the likes of, say, influenza pandemic or the Black Death or the Black Plague or AIDS or the Holocaust by far. And it continues year after year, even after Roe versus Wade was overturned, thanks in part to Trump. And did you know that Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, was a eugenist and a racist? They say that the most dangerous place for a black person to be in the ghetto is their mother's womb. And it's despicable. The Democrat Party's actions are evil. The psychology of crowds leads to a ton of evil. And I'm going to get to that here probably in another show. But being the party of abortions of viable babies is categorically evil in kind of the thing that we all need to understand. They're baby killers, folks. The other point is, intersectionality has made a similar effect. The party has adopted almost like a caste system based on what someone is or claims to be rather than who someone is or what they've done. It's completely reversal, up, down, whatever's up is now down, whatever's white is now black, and blah, blah, blah. It's all fucking madness. And this places those deemed victims over those deemed oppressors. While, take a Christian standpoint or a common sense standpoint, that we all as humans are made with equal value by God or by a creator, or maybe if you're a Wiccan, a clump of mud. But you understand the point. It's severe evil versus good. And really all this derives from one source, pride. And, at the end of the movie, The Devil's Advocate, I like how Al Pacino has that one line right before the credits are done. He goes, "Vanity, that's my favorite sin." Basically pride. And, the Democrat Party lives and breathes on its prioritization of itself. Everything it peddles is based on the idea that man is in control of his own destiny and should be allowed to pursue whatever makes him or her happy. Hedonistic desires, basically. Anything standing in the way of that is evil, as far as they're concerned. One could say that the Christian, again, I'm going to go back to that, who insists and who instead values humanity and humility is a threat to his existence. And that's, again, another way to look at the evils of what this is. And it's no coincidence here, folks, that there is a surging reverence for the devil or Satan from within the party. The devil represents the radical idealism, according to some of these great thinkers. There's this guy out there in the Democrat Party. His name is Mikhail Buchanan, I believe his name is, who referred to the devil, who called him the eternal rebel, the first free thinker, and the emancipator of the worlds. I mean, again, a fucking whack job. And, the past year alone has seen Democratic officials honor, look from about 21 on, I should say. These Democratic officials have honored satanic temples and erected statues in Lucifer's honor at state capitals. And yet at the same time, though, if you try to put a manger up in front of a firehouse somewhere, they bitch and complain about the separation of church and state when they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And it's clear the Democrat Party has placed its faith on itself over the faith in God. It sees Christians as the enemies of all it holds dear. And there's no reason to believe anyone can be both a faithful Christian and a devoted Democrat, because no one can simultaneously seek the praise of self and the praise of God. You just can't do it. And you can't be for mass extermination of babies before they're even born and expect God to welcome you into heaven. And don't get me wrong here. I empathetically believe that a Democrat victory will mean the end of America as we know it. And it really, the downward slope started with Obama. Those 8 years of Obama took 4 years of Trump to reverse, and now we got another 4 years of backsliding again. And there's no question, it's truism. That's what I'm talking about here. I really believe that a Democrat victory will be the end of America as we know it. I mean, look at the border problems. Look at what they're letting in. Look at they're trying to change demographics. The socialist Democrat plan underway for decades is to assume total and eternal control of the government and our citizenry. And they're on the brink of doing so. And by any means necessary, by the way, by any means necessary. Their election in November will put us over the brink, and it needs to be stopped. It needs to be stopped. This is good versus evil. Our cherished republic will become a second world country, somewhere between China, Russia, Iran, and the third world countries. Some fucking shithole of these assholes that are trying to get over our own border that are virtually left wide open. You know, the Democrat Party has been ruthless and evil in its pursuits of its vision, and quite frankly, acted better upon them than we have to prevent it. And it will be the same in governing if elected. They will be the same evil people. They've already proven so. You know, we need to end our silence and voice our convictions in reasonable forums to convince others that a November Democrat victory will have consequences that we never could have dreamed for our country. And it will put us back hundreds of years probably. You know, they are for keeping low-income communities in dependency, in the state of dependency. That's just evil. Giving someone food stamps instead of some company or an employer a tax credit, this is misplaced and evil. And it's meant to be a form of slavery, folks, like I've said before. But saying all people of color, like they always talk about, and conflating that with being poor or misled these poor people of color, you know, after 80 years of public education spending, is evil in itself. And this is the left's ethos. Let's try to keep people enslaved without actually using chains. And that's exactly what they've done, and they've proven it so. Nobody has done better while they're on welfare. Nobody's done better while they're on government assistance. Nobody's done better while they're depending on the fucking government. You know, for almost 3 years, we had a very visible case of elder abuse going on. Joe Biden needed to be anywhere but the fucking White House, that demented, half-witted retard that couldn't navigate a stage or a flight of stairs. But yet we heard him talking about, Corn Pop was a bad dude. It was pathetic. We watched an elderly man deteriorate before our very eyes, with the whole time they were saying, no, he's fine. And let us not forget, prior to the debate with Trump, the DNC meant to have Biden pressed into service for 4 more years because at the time, like now, the chosen VP, old camel toe Harris you've heard me talk about, for simple optic reasons, is not up to the task or taken over the election. But we have discussed this already in past shows. Go back and take a look at it. And I think this is why this election matters. I think it's a fight for good and evil. I think our very existence as a civilized people depend on it. And now is the time to get out there and vote. Protect your right to vote. Protect your right to vote. Get out there and do it. And don't shut up. Talk to your friends. Talk to the people at the grocery store line. Talk to the people at church. Talk to the people at the bars. Do never, ever shut up. And, the next time you have one of these dummy craps, one of these democrats, they want to have something negative to say about, the Republican Party or conservatism, ask them one simple question. Give me something that your platform, your party platform does that advances America without motherfucking Trump or a conservative. Yeah, they'll look at you like King Kong staring at Fay Ray. And that'll be that. So, hey, guys, I really appreciate it. Happy Monday, and let's get out there and win this thing. We got 22 days left. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button to continue to being part of the Lefty G experience. And thanks again, guys. Love you all. Peace through strength. Good night.